In my opinion, it was never easier to launch a product than now. But on the other hand, there's also a lot of competition because
Yeah.
it's so accessible right now. There's more competition, and especially in SaaS space, in consumer apps, people build a lot of products every single day from all over the world. In order to stand out from them, you really need to know what is the problem you're solving and who is your user. So for this, you need to be very smart. You need to be like a scientist. You need to go deep to the trenches and see where your audience hangs out.
Hi, Gleb. Welcome
Hi,
to
Wilson.
welcome to the Gleb podcast. How are you doing today?
Amazing. I'm excited to be here. And hi, everyone. Yeah, I've been looking forward to this conversation.
Same here. I've been looking forward to it. So, who are you? Let's start with that. Who is Gleb?
Right. So I think I'm just a curious person, if I could say it in one sentence. So I'm 31. I'm originally coming from Russia. I've been very active student. I like traveling, and this brought me to study in Germany. So I started abroad, computer science, and very early in my career, I found out about product management. So this was the job where I thought I could thrive, as on the one hand as an engineer, but also on the other hand as a person who likes to communicate, who likes to try different things, who like to experiment. And basically, this is what defined my career in the very beginning. And after some point, frankly,
Okay.
during COVID, during the pandemic, I found out about remote working. And I found out that I can actually do the same job, actually even more efficient from any place I want in the world. And this is when I just had this dream to have freedom of location. And eventually it also brought me to another, let's say, dream, which is work in progress, is the financial freedom as well. Therefore, I started my own company. It's not the first one. I already had some experience before, which didn't work out. But now I'm like laser focused on the product studio, which I'm running together with my business partners called Kodebusters, who help startups, scale ups, and enterprise to really thrive with software. And a part of that, I love surfing, traveling, in general, everything about fitness and business. And yeah, I'm also a big fan of your podcast.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, that's about me.
Very good. Yeah, we can see you work out. You look so fit. How do you plan that into your schedule? Maybe we need to learn from you. How many times a week do you work out, and how do you keep that balance where you get to deliver but you're still fit and healthy? Because I think it's very important to do both.
Right. I defined the principle, which I can only recommend it to male audience, right? Because I'm a guy, so I cannot really say much about how to do female workouts. But for me, my journey started when I quit alcohol. It was like a really big decision, and it was a very impactful decision, which is still kind of unveiling the impact, like 1.5 years ago. And the principle has only three points basically. The first one is that you need to find some cardio which doesn't feel like sport. It needs to be fun for you. And I recommend to like keep looking for it until you find it. For me, it's surfing. Like I need to force myself to get out of the water. Like I can exhaust myself in the water. So for me, it doesn't feel like sport, but actually it's sport. And then weightlifting, couple of times a week, and then just be more mindful about nutrition. Um, like clean food, not to drink too much calories. Just be mindful, not limiting, but be mindful about portions, sizes, and everything to kind of to find a balance in this. So these three principles kind of, work for me. And you can also try it. Yeah,
Definitely, I'll try it. I already like swimming, so I think we share that interest with water. Okay, now
for sure.
let's go back to business. Codebusters. You help companies move their products, get it to the market faster. How do you do that generally? How do you go about that?
So maybe I'll just make one step back and explain you real quick how the whole idea came to my mind. So my last job as a head of product it was a startup which was matching agencies and freelancers on the one hand, and companies who are looking for talents on the other hand. And I noticed there was a very big gap in expectations. On the one hand, companies are looking for lower tickets because now in Europe there is economic recession and companies don't have such a huge budgets for their projects. But on the other hand, agencies work in the model that the more they try to hire as many engineers working as long as possible to make like the most beneficial bill for them. So agency wants you to pay more. This is how they earn money, right? Because they resell developers or designers or product managers. And I could see that it's very difficult to match them, so both are happy. So either client say it's too expensive or agency says we cannot find clients who can afford us. And on the other hand, we have a really huge technological push with AI and no code on the one hand, and also these automation tools on the other. Spice it up on top with remote work, with global workforce, and all these amazing capabilities which you have right now, which we didn't have, let's say, 5 years ago. All of this together kind of gave a birth to idea of Kodebusters. Kodebusters is a fully remote company where we really take full advantage and full leverage of no code and smart integrations and automation to bring products to the market so much faster because it's way less manual work. What we're doing, we're building a very strong product foundation. We're doing product discovery and research. This is something which you cannot automate right now. Like this is where our product experience really comes to. And then instead of writing everything manually, instead of building these huge architectures, which most of the startups don't need, when they start, we use no code and we use automation. We integrate tools together. So that's why you can bring a product from idea to market within 1 month, let's say, to start something, and then you continue, iterate based on real feedback, real user feedback, real analytics. So that's the mindset behind.
Oh, wonderful. I sit in also the low code space, so I understand the agility of actually getting products to market or to the customers as soon as possible. So this and just sticking around this skill, how can people I don't know what technologies you use, but how can people quickly learn these tools? How can they invest themselves? How can they position themselves? Because it's a skill for today and for the future. I think more and more people will embrace no code. So if someone was to go into that low code space or into the low code space, what tools would you tell them to look at and how can they build some of these skills?
Right. So I would like to answer in 2 parts. So you're right that no code is growing right now. I'm very bullish on that. And in my opinion, it was never easier to launch a product than now. But on the other hand, there's also a lot of competition because it's so accessible right now. There's more competition, and especially in SaaS space, in consumer apps, people build a lot of products every single day from all over the world. In order to stand out from them, you really need to know what is the problem you're solving and who is your user. So for this, you need to be very smart. You need to be like a scientist. You need to go deep to the trenches and see where your audience hangs out. You need to go through Reddit and subreddits, through Facebook groups, for your social media, everywhere. You need to experiment a lot. So with this, I recommend to use, of course, ChatGPT, which will just help you to analyze all this information. And also there are a lot of tools which can be like on top of OpenAI, let's say, to scan huge amounts of data. So this will be the first skill which I recommend to do. Don't rush building the MVP. Don't rush to jump into engineering before you found this underserved niche, before you found the problem people complain about on the internet. People ask a lot of questions about this on the internet, like, I have a problem with this, with this, with this. And when you notice that 20 people ask the same question, maybe there is no solution for now. And then I recommend to start with Bubble for the very simple reason. It's a mature platform and it has so many tutorials. It has so much support and a huge community. I'm not saying that Bubble is better than that other platforms like Flutterflow, for example. It's a matter of preference. But because Bubble is so mature, I think it was one of the first platforms for no code. There's just way more support, way more components you can reuse, way more templates, right? A lot of people post about this on internet as well in the same social networks. Therefore, I would suggest go with that. But again, my maybe third recommendation would be before you start building something, really test the waters. Like talk to people who might be your potential clients. If it's B2B, it's even easier because you can actually find them on LinkedIn or in some other professional communities and try it out there. This would be my recommendation.
Okay. Thank you. And you just mentioned LinkedIn, finding the communities where people are that need what you do, right? I guess these are some of the strategies you as a co-founder you use to get your clients. Are there other tips if people want to position themselves properly to make the best of their skills and whatever product they're building for people to use them? What are some things they can do to make sure that they're in the right space at the right time and yeah, meeting the right clients?
Sure. By no means I'm expert on this. What I'm doing right now,
Yeah.
experimenting a lot, trying new things. I can only share what I learned recently in my relatively short journey is that first of all, if you, for me, like if you do B2B as a product studio, it's important to stay professional, right? It's important to know who your audience is, who your customers are, and serve them. So, for example, on LinkedIn, the post about my personal life get the most engagement, but it's not what I want in the end. In the end, I want people to see me as an expert. I want people to come to me and work with me. There's another trend in social media right now, which is switching from short format to long format, from let's say short bites like entertaining content to more professional and long format. This is something which I also want to experiment more. And this is something which I also learned recently. My original strategy was to produce as much content as I can, experiment with different formats and see what works. And I was thinking more about myself. I was thinking what I'm curious about and what I want to share. I wasn't thinking that much about what my potential customers actually want to see, what my potential customers want to learn, want to find out, what are their problems. So now I defined very clear strategy for me and for our brand called Busters. I want to be, and we want to be a number one resource for our potential clients about problems they're facing, pains they have, and insights they're looking for. So when startup founders, product leaders, and business owners think about how they can thrive using software, how they can thrive using no code, how they can automate, how they can build better products, I want them to think about Codebusters. I want them to go to our blog. I want to go to our LinkedIn page. It's a very long-term shot, but I can give you example for like if I'm thinking about sales, I'm looking for Alex Hormozy, for example.
Yeah.
The guy is the legend in marketing and sales. So
I
for me,
know.
he's an expert, right? And I want to be similar in our niche. So I want people associate our brand with expertise in which will really give answers to their questions. And this brings way more effort to creating content because it's not about me anymore. It's about them.
Yeah.
I want to serve them. I want them to share my content with their friends and colleagues, let's say. Yeah, it means I need to spend way more time on this, but I think it's going to pay off. So in summary, if you want to stand out as a professional, especially on LinkedIn or YouTube, my two recommendations, focus on professional content to really highlight your skills and give some insights. And the second one, first, think what your potential customers are looking for when they have problems and solve this problem. So therefore, they will think about you as an expert in this field.
Yeah. Now you switched from working to owning to being a co-founder. I guess the it's a different ballgame altogether. what are some of the major differences you've observed in being an employee to now being an employer?
Oh man, this is an excellent question. I would say the biggest mindset shift which I still haven't is instead of how, I need to ask who, right? So as a business owner, you need to manage resources and you always want to do it yourself because I think, okay, it's only me who can make it perfect. It's only me who can take full responsibility for that. But it's not going to help you a lot with scaling. Of course, in the beginning, and still I'm doing a lot of things myself because we're growing and it's also important to have proper solid processes before we scale them. But that's the mindset. Always ask who, not how.
Oh, I really like that. And I guess, yeah, if one is recently just switching, like you said, there's this tendency for us to want to do it ourselves just because we feel we will get it done the way we want it to be done. But being able to step out of that zone and trust others enough to be able to do it, I think that's one of the key attributes of leaders, right? You equip them, you enable them, and you allow them do what they need to do.
Right.
You highlighted some processes recently, I think about 8 of them, on how to effectively scale and yeah, manage products and all of that. I think the one that I liked and I can relate with is documenting,
Mm-hmm.
right? Making sure that your processes are well defined and documenting. In a world where people constantly, we just want to dish things out as quickly as possible, how do we balance the need for pushing things out and really documenting things properly? Because people will come and go from the organization, right? From your business, from what you
Exactly.
do. How do we balance that to deliver on time, not focus so much on documenting every single step? And then how do we also make sure we don't lose track of documenting the real things? Yep.
I think it's a, for many remote companies, it's rather existential question rather than nice to have. And it's the same for us. When I was an employee, I was always a big fan of remote work, right? Because you have everything ready for you. You can work from any place you want. And then once your workday is over, you can just go to the beach and surf or just relax with your friends. But when you run a remote company, it's totally different responsibility and you have different expectations from yourself and also different expectations from your employees. And I really struggled in the beginning, and I'm still struggling running remote company, building a remote company, and also scaling a remote company. So these principles which you mentioned, they didn't come from the point of view of like love, enlightenment, and peaceful, and peace. It was coming from like panic, like oh my God, nothing is at the right place. So let's bring some structure to that. I'm exaggerating a bit. I think it was kind of a mix, but as I have these solid structures in my head, but I always and still was really bad in documenting. Usually my personal note is a total mess. I really love to use Miro instead of text because at least this is the medium. Miro is it's a virtual board, like whiteboard, but online, very very helpful tool. So for me, it's the closest medium to how my brain thinks, like in visual things, putting stickers to each in different places. I think the only way to bring this habit in your company, organization, a team is very strict discipline and taking accountability on each other. I can give you an example. Let's say if there is a ticket in Notion, or let's say any other tool you use, let's say Jira or Linear, so any tool you use for tracking, and then I send you a message like, hey, what about this task? You should tell me, no conversation about this. Let's talk in the ticket. These little things. Recording all the calls just in case also helps. Yeah, discipline, and keeping each other accountable as a team.
Yeah, discipline and yeah, I've been in different scenarios where we had to document like everything, and it's not particularly easy, right? Sometimes you just want to talk, well, like you said, the discipline, making it part of the workday is very essential. to, getting things done, documenting them, because that information will be used. And with AI coming, I think, into more and more businesses, with that information documented, then there is something your AI can learn from based on that communication and what has been documented to them using the business. Okay, now let's switch also back to work-life balance. As a founder, or a co-founder, you're constantly under pressure, I feel. Most people are constantly under pressure. But you also don't want to burn out. You don't want to break down. So how do you get to the point where you can effectively deliver, because you need to deliver for the business to keep going, and then you also manage generally your well-being, other activities, relationships. So you have a profitable business, you have a good balance, and you maintain your relationships. How do you put all of that together to make sure that you're lively, you show up your best self at every time?
Yeah, thank you for asking. This is it's one of the biggest challenges I'm facing right now, and in my community the same. You're right. So I'm building a lifestyle business, the one which will empower me to live the life I want rather than to live for this business, and also live in Bali where I have access to the things which give me so much joy, like surfing, um, this tropical lifestyle, and community of people. I'm experimenting all the time. I'm reflecting on what's working for me, what doesn't work. Let's say if I do sports early in the morning, that's something which I love the most, but then I don't have energy. I notice that I'm very productive early in the morning. So usually I work a couple of hours after I wake up, and then I feel more accomplished um, when I start of the day, let's say. I'm trying my best to have 4, 6 hours of focused work, including calls. So let's say 4 hours focused work and 2 hours of calls with my team. It's very, very difficult for me. And I'm questioning this balance very often. And also sometimes one week I'm super productive and I can work 12 hours a day and I'm enjoying it. Like I feel, okay, this week I'm on fire, so let's get the things done. And sometimes it happens that the week just doesn't go as productive as it could. I think this week was one of one example like of that. When you just feel like you cannot focus, when you just feel like you're constantly distracted. And it's also okay. Of course, this is something which differentiates, I would say, professional from amateur. And I think in business world, I'm still amateur. I know people who can really focus and grind no matter what. And I'm getting there, trying to block social media, trying to be in the productive environment. And in generally, I'm motivated by growing my business, and I know that the biggest leverage I have is myself, right? Investing my time, investing my energy into this, investing my talent. This also which drives me. But again, as I said, it's a constant journey. And I don't know a single person personally who really figured it out. All of us that have our ups and downs. But this is the part of the game which we're playing. And this is the thing which I like. I know that for the next 20 years, it's going to be difficult with the lifestyle I chose, but it's amazing and I love it. So I didn't, if I wanted an easy life, I wouldn't go for this. And yeah, I think it was Buddha who said that life is always a struggle. And I think life is always a collection of challenges. But good news is that we can choose our challenges. And I choose challenges which I have right now. I choose the stress of uncertainty. I choose the pressure from clients and from my team. And I choose the pressure to sometimes say no to nice waves or nice travel opportunities rather than being in comfort of a well-paid job and feeling all the time that I'm not in my place, I'm not walking my path. Because I've been there and I remember this feeling very well when you think like, what am I missing in my life? I have an amazing remote job. I have a very nice boss. I have a like top 1% salary. Why I'm not happy? And now I'm far away from what I used to earn. And when it comes to security, it's just not there. But I wake up excited every day about the challenges I'm going to solve work-wise. So yeah, that's my choice, and I'm grateful for what I have.
That's so powerful. And I like what you said about something. It just feels like something was missing, right? And it's finding that inner peace, inner joy, inner fulfillment. At the end of the day, that's what we're all chasing. And some people depend on money to help them get that. So I'm not saying that's wrong, but most times the sustainable approach is really finding what you know you should be doing and actually doing it. So thank you for really sharing that.
Sure.
Any last things you want to tell our audience about maybe some of your plans, how they can reach you, how they can engage with Codebusters? Yeah, anything you want to say to us?
Sure. There are many things. I'm really optimistic about the time we live in, when it comes to business at least. And I think, as I said before, there has never been easier to start something, right? To start a product, to start the side project. It's difficult to finish for sure, but it's easy to start. So I recommend the audience just to give it a try, give it a shot. Learn about no code, learn about how to use AI in your daily job, how to do research with AI. Because if you have this feeling in your guts, if your intuition tells you that you are there for something big, right? Or you just want to give security for your family or for your partner, or you just want to live the life which you always wanted to live, like this one decision can really make a big difference. This one decision, this one change can make you the rest of your life so much different and so much closer to what you might want to have. And by no means I'm not there, but very optimistic, and I think I'm on my way. But it all starts with little decisions. So yeah, if I could leave you with some thoughts, listen to your heart, and there are tools to support you. Once the decision is done, there is leverage. And connect me with LinkedIn. I think it will be the best. So I'm active there and I'm trying to post some helpful content. So if anyone from your audience is about to launch a startup, or they already have their product, even if it's a company which is growing, they already found product market fit, I'm sure you'll find something helpful in the content I'm posting. So find me on LinkedIn. And if you want to learn more about Codebusters, what we do, reach out to codebusters.com with K in the beginning, and you'll find all the information there. We also have a blog where we post about case studies and some findings we have. And actually, we also have like a special, maybe a special announcement. What we do, we do a lot of product discoveries for our clients, like workshops, and also inside the as a part of the work we do. And it's not cheap because this is done manually. So we use AI, of course, to help us summarize documents and everything, but it's done by people, it's done by my product expert team. And we recently launched a tool which is absolutely free, and it gives you exactly the same value at this workshop because we packed all the knowledge we have. And this tool is to validate and give you some clarity on your product ideas. So let's say if you have a product idea you want to start working on, or you already build it, but you don't know how to market it, this could be very helpful for you. I think we can just leave the link in the notes.
Yeah,
It's
I'll
absolutely
share
free.
it. Yeah.
And we also would like to hear your feedback on that. I'm very proud with this little tool, and it was designed to support entrepreneurs, support people who are on this journey, because we know this journey is very difficult. And from our side, from Codebusters, we'd like to help entrepreneurs with that.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for making our time for this session. And yeah, all the best. We look forward to amazing things coming from Codebusters and from yourself. And yeah, thank you once again to our listeners. Keep connecting, reach out to Gleb and learn all you can. Bye for now.
Thank you so much, Wilson. Have a wonderful
Yeah,
day.
you too.